Let's clear up the misunderstanding of memory cards. So, a lot of people misunderstand and they don't quite know what the numbers and the letters mean. So, as you can see, we have 200 MBS, 250 MBS, or 300 MBS, and then some will have a V next to them 30, 60, or 90. So, the MBS is the speed in which the image moves from camera to memory card. It's absolutely nothing to do with the quality of your image. The quality of your image is built in the camera's processor. Nothing to do with your memory card. So when you take a shot, your processor on your camera buffers that information, then moves it to memory card. So it's the speed in which that happens. So if you're a high burst photographer, such as weddings, events, wildlife, sports, action, and you're constantly shooting in that high burst mode, when you press the shutter, it's just then yeah, you need a really high MBS, especially when you're shooting high res raw files, okay? Because you need it to happen quick. If it doesn't, your shutter locks and you miss images because it's still moving the images across, okay? So that's what your MBS is. I'm a landscape photographer. If you're a landscape photographer or you do slow moving photography such as portraits, headshots, or family shoots, you have time between pressing the shutter before the image is moved from camera to memory card. So my camera moves my images to memory card in less than a second. So I don't need a fast MBS, although I do shoot on a 300 MBS V90, but that's only because I switch to video sometimes when I'm out and about. It's easier. If I'm not doing that, then I just use a V60 250 MBS, sometimes a V30 200, depends. If I do a long exposure shot on my Sony A7CR, it comes up image processing. If I choose 5 seconds, it goes 5 to 0. If I do 10 seconds, 10 to 0, and so on. That's the processor in my camera buffering that information before it moves it to memory card. So if you see image processing coming up on your screen, an old mate says to you, you need a faster memory card, that's an issue there. They don't know what they're talking about. It's the camera's processor buffering that information. So how long you do the exposure for and how much information, especially on a high-res RAW file, it's going to take longer to buffer that information. Nothing to do with your memory card. So you can shoot a long exposure on a 200 MBS memory card and get the same quality image as if you used a 300 MBS memory card. Now let's talk about the V. So if you're a photographer and don't do video, you don't need to worry about the V because the V stands for video. So video 30, video 60, video 90. So if you're shooting 4K, 8K video, then yeah, you want a higher number like a V90. And a V90 always equals a 300 MBS, sometimes more depending on the brand. None of them affect the quality of your image. It's just the speed in which they move. I hope that makes sense. Any questions or comments, drop them below.